Alright, hello third grade, happy Monday. Today we're going to be working on identifying plural nouns, singular possessives, and plural possessives in our sentences. So make sure to take out a piece of paper and write down some notes so when we do our homework you'll have something to look back at. So we're going to go down here and we're going to take it a little slow because this can get sometimes confusing. So a possessive noun that we've learned is showing ownership of something, or if it is someone's certain object, we're showing who owns it. So when we use a singular, when the noun is singular, which means one, we're just going to add an apostrophe S. So right here, this is what an apostrophe looks like, and the S. And that is going to help us make a singular possessive noun. So if Matt is my noun and Matt is just one person, I'm going to do apostrophe S glove. So Matt's glove. I'm talking about whose glove is it? It's Matt's glove. So I'm showing who owns the glove with my apostrophe and then my S. And that's if the noun is singular, which means the noun is one. So same with the bird. The bird, that's just one bird. We're not talking about multiple birds. And so I'm going to add the apostrophe S, the bird's wings. So now I'm showing whose wings is it? It's the bird's wings. And the bird, just one bird, since it is singular, we just add an apostrophe S. But when the noun is plural and ends in an S, we're not going to add an apostrophe S. We're just going to add an apostrophe at the end. And that will give us the plural possessive noun. So if we see the noun, the boys, that's more than one boy. And how do we know that? Because there's an S at the end. So instead of saying B-O-Y-S apostrophe S, we're just adding an apostrophe at the end. So notice the different placements. When it's a plural possessive noun, the apostrophe is after the S because it's already a plural noun. But when it's a singular possessive noun, it goes apostrophe S. So the boys' camp. So we're talking about more than one boy, so we're adding the apostrophe after the S, camp. Whose camp is it? We're showing ownership, the boys' camp. So our apostrophe, whenever we see an apostrophe, we know we're trying to make a possessive noun. So if I say the schools, and we're talking about the schools' teams, well, schools is plural, so I'm not going to add another apostrophe S because we're talking about more than one. So then we do S apostrophe, the schools teams. But as we know from before, we've learned our irregular plural nouns. Sometimes our nouns are going to not end in an S, but they're still plural. So like children and mice. When we say children, we're talking about more than one, but it doesn't end in an S. So this is where it can get kind of tricky. So when a noun is plural and does not end in an S, then we add an apostrophe S to form the plural possessive. So the children, we're going to do just like up here, the children's apostrophe S toys. Whose toys is it? The children's toys. But it's still our plural possessive noun because children is plural. So same here when we see the mice. The mice's tails. So we know that mice already means more than one mice. So we're not going to add, there's no S at the end, so we have to add an apostrophe S. The mice's tails. So we're going to go through some examples just to go through it again. So what we're going to be looking for to make a singular noun possessive, we add an apostrophe S. To make a plural noun possessive, and it ends in an S, we add a apostrophe after the S. But if we have an irregular plural noun that does not end in an S, we treat it like the singular possessive, the apostrophe S. So when we read our sentences that we'll go over, we have to make sure we're looking back at the word. Is it plural? Is it singular? So let's go with some examples. So to see if something's a plural noun, which we will have to identify in these sentences, if it's a plural noun, there's no apostrophe because the apostrophe makes it possessive. But Sometimes we're going to have to work, but don't worry, there are easy ways to tell the difference between a singular possessive and a plural possessive. So when I look at my examples of plural nouns, the dogs ran across the street. I know dogs is a plural noun because there's no apostrophe, so it's not being changed to a possessive noun. And also, it's not showing ownership of anything. So if I go, the books fell to the ground, we're just talking about multiple books. We're not showing ownership of whose books they are. We're just saying they fell. So that would, again, be a plural noun. And if I said, my arms are tired, I'm not showing ownership of whose arms they are, and there's no apostrophe. So the plural nouns, it'll be easy to remember, they're not going to have an apostrophe. And all of these mean more than one. If I'm saying the dogs, I'm talking about more than one dog. If I'm saying the books, I'm talking about more than one. And if I say my arms, I'm talking about both my arms. So again, more than one, that is our plural noun. But if I go to my singular possessive, so the noun is singular and I want to make it possessive, Sandra's dog is very cute. So when we look at our sentences on IXL, I'm looking at the word that's bolded. Sandra's. It goes apostrophe S. Sandra is just one person, and since it goes apostrophe S, I know that it's a singular possessive. So we're talking about Sandra's dog is very cute. So we're showing ownership of whose dog it is. Whose dog is it? Sandra's. But if I say the boss's car is orange, again, I see apostrophe S, which means we're showing ownership. Whose car? The boss's. And that means, since I see it goes apostrophe S and I see boss is singular, it is my singular possessive. So now if I see the jam's ingredients are blackberry and blueberry. So I'm showing ownership because I have a apostrophe, so I know it's possessive. And I'm looking back at, if I take the jam, we're talking about one jam, it's singular, and what helps me to know it's singular is the apostrophe S. But now our plural possessive is where it gets a little bit more complicated. The kitten's toys are everywhere. Well, in this sentence, are we talking about one kitten or multiple kittens? Well, since the apostrophe's at the end and not in between the N and the S, we know that we're talking about multiple kittens in this sentence. So we have to look at the place of the apostrophe. And is kitten an irregular plural noun? No, because if I wanted to make kittens plural, I just add an S. And that's why the apostrophe is there. But if I say all of the books are ruined, there's more than one book in this instance. Because I'm looking at where the apostrophe is. The apostrophe is after the S, which gives it away that it is going to be a plural possessive. But then if I see the children's dog ran away, children, I know, is an irregular plural noun. So hopefully you have your notes from when we did our irregular plurals from before. So the children's dog ran away. We're talking about more than one child. But this doesn't end in an S when made plural. So we see the apostrophe S. So make sure to look back at the placements of the apostrophes and look back at the noun. Is the noun irregular plural, or is it a normal plural, or is it singular? So remember, if we're looking for a plural noun, there's no apostrophe. The only time we see an apostrophe is if it is a possessive noun. So we're changing the noun from just a regular noun to a noun that is showing ownership to something. And if it's a singular possessive, we're always going to see apostrophe S. And we can always take off the S and the apostrophe and see, is Sandra one? Yes, so it's singular. So down here, when we want to know if it's a plural possessive, the apostrophe goes after the S. That's when we know in our sentence we're talking about more than one noun. So the kitten's toys are everywhere, and I see the apostrophe after the S, so it is a plural possessive. So over here when I see the children, you have to watch out for the irregular nouns. Children I know means more than one, and it goes apostrophe S. So that's when I look back and I know that it's a plural possessive because children is a plural noun. Alright, so for our homework today, it's going to be in IXL, and it's going to be going over the word that is bolded. Is it going to be a plural noun, a singular possessive noun, or a plural possessive noun? So make sure to take notes and look back at where the apostrophe is. And I'll leave it on this page. So if you want to take notes here about how we see the singular possessive, plural possessive, and the irregular possessives, then you can see it, the irregular plural possessives, then take some notes and write it down so when you do your IXL, you'll have something to look back at. Thank you and have a great day.